Cadet 13 was not like the others. He walked through the academy halls with his head high, his eyes sharp, and his voice loud. He was strong, or at least he believed so. No one dared to stand in his way. He broke rules, mocked officers, and laughed when others tried to stop him. To the younger cadets, he was a legend. To the commanders, he was a problem. But to himself, he was untouchable. Every day, Cadet 13 showed his power. He lifted weights heavier than anyone else. He fought in training matches with no fear. He spoke back to teachers and never lowered his voice. He wanted everyone to know that he was the strongest cadet in the academy. And for a long time, everyone believed it. But things changed the day the human arrived. The academy had seen many species before. Tall warriors with scales, silent hunters with wings, and machines that thought like men. But humans were rare. They were small compared to others, soft compared to machines, and quiet compared to Cadet 13. Most cadets laughed when they heard a human was joining. They thought it was a joke. When the human walked into the hall, Cadet 13 was ready to laugh too. The human was calm, carrying a small cage in one hand. His steps were slow, his eyes steady. He did not look strong. He did not look dangerous. He looked ordinary. Cadet 13 smirked. "This is the new recruit," he said loudly, so everyone could hear. "This is the one we are supposed to respect." The other cadets chuckled. The commanders stayed silent. The human did not answer. He only placed the cage on the table. Inside the cage was a creature. Small, soft, with fur as black as night. Its eyes glowed yellow in the dim light. It did not move. It only stared. Cadet 13 laughed. "A pet? You bring a pet to the academy? Do you think this will make you strong?" The human said nothing. He only looked at Cadet 13 with calm eyes. The cadets leaned closer to see the creature. Some whispered. "What is it? Why does it stare like that? It looks strange." Cadet 13 stepped forward. He wanted to show everyone that he was not afraid. He leaned close to the cage and stared back at the creature. The cat did not blink. Its glowing eyes locked on him. For a moment, Cadet 13 felt something he had never felt before. His chest grew tight. His breath slowed. His hands trembled. He tried to laugh again, but the sound caught in his throat. The room grew quiet. The other cadets watched. They saw Cadet 13's face change. They saw his smirk fade. The human finally spoke. His voice was calm, almost soft. "You think you are strong," he said. "But strength is not always loud. Sometimes strength is silent." Cadet 13 stepped back. He wanted to speak, but no words came. He wanted to laugh, but no sound came. He wanted to move, but his legs felt heavy. The cat blinked once. Slowly. Then it turned its head, still watching him. Cadet 13's heart raced. He had faced monsters in training. He had fought machines twice his size. He had stood against commanders without fear. But this small creature, this ordinary pet, made him feel weak. The other cadets whispered again. "Did you see that? He looks afraid." Cadet 13 is afraid of a cat. Cadet 13 clenched his fists. He wanted to shout, to prove them wrong. But the fear stayed. It was deep, heavy, and strange. He did not understand it. The human lifted the cage and walked away. He did not look back. He did not need to. The silence in the hall was enough. That night, Cadet 13 could not sleep. He closed his eyes, but the glowing yellow eyes of the cat appeared in his mind. He turned in his bed, but the stare followed him. He woke in the dark, sweating, his breath fast. He told himself it was nothing. He told himself he was strong. But the fear did not leave. The next day, Cadet 13 avoided the human. He avoided the cage. He avoided the cat. But no matter where he went, he felt its eyes on him. Across the yard, in the dining hall, even in the training room, he felt the stare. The other cadets noticed. They whispered more. He is not the same. He looks nervous. Cadet 13 is afraid. Cadet 13 grew angry. He wanted to fight the human. He wanted to crush the cage. He wanted to prove that he was still strong. But deep inside, he knew the truth. He was afraid. And that fear was growing. The commanders watched in silence. They had tried for years to control Cadet 13. They had punished him, trained him, and warned him. Nothing worked. But now, with the arrival of one human and one small creature, Cadet 13 was breaking. The legend of Cadet 13 was fading. The strongest cadet was trembling. And the academy was waiting to see what would happen next. Cadet 13 woke with heavy eyes. The night had been long, filled with restless dreams. Every time he closed his eyes, the glowing stare of the cat returned. He told himself it was nothing, just a trick of the mind. But deep inside, he knew the fear was real. The academy yard was alive with noise that morning. Cadets trained, shouted, and marched in lines. The commanders watched from the towers. Cadet 13 walked among them, his step strong, his chin high. He wanted to show that nothing had changed. He wanted to prove that he was still the strongest. But whispers followed him. Did you see him yesterday? He looked afraid. Afraid of a cat. Cadet 13 clenched his fists. He hated the whispers. He hated the way they looked at him. He hated the human most of all. The human stood at the far end of the yard, calm as always. The cage rested beside him. The cat sat inside, silent, watching. Its eyes glowed in the morning light. Cadet 13 marched forward. His voice was loud, sharp. Human. You think your pet makes you strong? You think your silence makes you better than me? The other cadets stopped to listen. The commanders turned their heads. Everyone waited. The human did not answer. He only looked at Cadet 13 with steady eyes. Cadet 13 stepped closer. Fight me, he said. Show them you are more than a man with a cat. Show them you are not weak. The human's lips curved into a faint smile. He nodded once. The commanders agreed. A combat drill was ordered. The cadets gathered in a circle. The human and Cadet 13 stepped into the center. Cadet 13's heart raced. He wanted to crush the human quickly, to erase the whispers, to prove his strength. He raised his fists, his muscles tense. The human stood calm, his hands loose, his body relaxed. The cat sat at the edge of the circle, its glowing eyes fixed on Cadet 13. The whistle blew. Cadet 13 charged forward. His fists swung hard, his voice roared. He wanted to end it in one strike. But the human moved with ease. He stepped aside, his body flowing like water. Cadet 13's fist hit nothing but air. The cadets gasped. Cadet 13 growled and attacked again. His punches were fast, his kicks strong. But the human dodged each one. He did not fight with power. He fought with calm. Every time Cadet 13 looked at the cat, his strength faltered. His arms grew heavy, his legs weak. The glowing eyes pierced his mind. The human struck once, quick and sharp. Cadet 13 stumbled back. His pride burned. He attacked again, but the human's movements were smooth, controlled. Minutes passed. Cadet 13 grew tired. Sweat dripped from his face. His breath came fast. The human still looked calm, untouched. The cat blinked slowly, its eyes never leaving Cadet 13. Cadet 13's chest tightened. His fear grew stronger. He swung wildly, desperate to win. But the human caught his arm, twisted, and pushed him to the ground. The circle erupted in noise. Cadets shouted, commanders whispered. Cadet 13 lay on the ground, his pride shattered. The human stood over him, silent. The cat sat still, glowing eyes locked on Cadet 13. Cadet 13 tried to rise, but his body refused. His strength was gone. His fear was complete. The whistle blew again. The drill was over. The human had won. Cadet 13's face burned with shame. He had never lost before. He had never felt weak. But now, in front of everyone, he was broken. The cadets whispered louder. Cadet 13 lost. He was defeated. He fears the cat. Cadet 13 clenched his fists. He wanted to shout, to fight again, to prove them wrong. But the fear stayed. It was heavy, unshakable. The human walked away, calm as always. He did not boast. He did not laugh. He only carried the cage, the cat inside, glowing eyes watching. That night, Cadet 13 sat alone. His pride was gone. His strength felt empty. He thought of the fight, of the human's calm, of the cat's stare. He whispered to himself, I am strong. I am not afraid. But the words felt hollow. The cat's eyes returned in his mind. Yellow, glowing, endless. Cadet 13 slammed his fist against the wall. He wanted to break the fear. He wanted to destroy the cat. He wanted to prove he was still the strongest. But deep inside, he knew the truth. The human had shown him something he had never faced before. Strength without anger. Power without noise. Calm that defeated chaos. And the cat had shown him fear. Cadet 13 closed his eyes. The whispers of the cadets echoed in his mind. The stare of the cat burned in his thoughts. He was no longer untouchable. He was no longer fearless. Cadet 13 was broken. And the academy knew it. Cadet 13 sat alone in the dark. His room was silent, but his mind was loud. Every shadow seemed to carry the shape of glowing eyes. Every corner felt alive with a stare that was not there. He pressed his hands against his face, trying to block the memory, but it returned again and again, the cat's eyes, yellow and endless. He had lost before the entire academy. That was shame enough. But what burned deeper was the fear. Not of the human, not of the fight, but of the small creature that had done nothing but stare. Cadet 13 whispered to himself, it is only an animal. It is weak. I am strong. He repeated the words like a chant, but they did not heal him. The fear stayed. The next morning, Cadet 13 walked into the dining hall. He kept his head high, but his eyes moved quickly, searching. The human was there, sitting quietly with the cage beside him. The cat rested inside, calm, silent, watching. Cadet 13 felt his chest tighten. He turned away, pretending not to see. But the whispers followed him. Look, he avoids the human. He fears the cat. He is not the same. He clenched his fists. He wanted to shout, to silence them. But his voice felt trapped. During training, Cadet 13 tried to focus. He lifted weights, ran drills, and fought sparring matches. But every time he looked across the yard, he saw the cage. The cat's eyes glowed even from a distance. His hands shook. His strikes lost power. His opponents noticed. One cadet whispered, he is weaker now. Another said, the cat broke him. Cadet 13's anger grew. He wanted to crush the cage, to destroy the creature, to prove he was still strong. But whenever he thought of stepping close, his legs froze. That night, the dreams returned. He saw the cat walking through the academy halls, silent, glowing eyes fixed on him. He ran, but the cat followed. He hid, but the eyes found him. He woke with a scream, sweat dripping from his face. The commanders watched from afar. They had seen Cadet 13's pride for years. They had seen his defiance, his arrogance, his strength. Now they saw his fear. They said nothing, but they knew the truth: the human's arrival had changed everything. Days passed. Cadet 13 grew restless. He avoided the human, avoided the cage, avoided the cat. But no matter where he went, he felt its stare. In the library, in the training yard, even in the mess hall, the fear followed. One evening, Cadet 13 sat outside, staring at the stars. He wanted peace, but his mind was heavy. The sound of footsteps broke the silence. The human appeared, carrying the cage. He placed it on the ground beside him. Cadet 13's breath caught. He wanted to run, but his pride held him still. The human spoke softly. "You fear what you do not understand." Cadet 13 growled. "I fear nothing." The human smiled faintly. "Then look into its eyes." The cat blinked slowly, then stared. Cadet 13's heart raced. His hands trembled. He wanted to look away, but he forced himself to stare back. The silence stretched. The stars above seemed to fade. The cat did not move. It only watched. Cadet 13's chest tightened. His breath grew shallow. He felt small, weaker than ever before. He broke the stare, turning his head. The human said, "Strength is not about power. It is about control. You have power, but no control. That is why you fear." Cadet 13 shouted, "I am strong." His voice echoed, but it sounded hollow. The human lifted the cage and walked away. The cat's eyes glowed until the darkness swallowed them. Cadet 13 sat alone, shaking. He hated the human. He hated the cat. But most of all, he hated himself. The whispers grew louder in the days that followed. Cadet 13 is broken. He fears the human's pet. He is no longer the strongest. Cadet 13's anger burned. He wanted to fight again, to prove himself. But deep inside, he knew the truth. The fear was stronger than his fists. At night, he dreamed again. The cat walked closer, its eyes glowing brighter. He tried to fight, but his arms felt heavy. He tried to shout, but his voice was gone. The cat leapt forward, and he woke with a scream. He pressed his hands against his chest, feeling his heart race. He whispered, "I am strong. I am strong." But the words meant nothing. The academy had changed. The cadets no longer looked at him with respect. They looked at him with pity, with whispers, with laughter. His legend was fading. And all because of one human. And one cat. The academy was restless. Whispers of Cadet 13's defeat spread through every hall, every room, every corner. The strongest cadet had fallen, and not to a commander, not to a machine, but to a human, and a cat. The commanders decided it was time for a test. They wanted to see if Cadet 13 could rise again or if his fear had broken him completely. The announcement came at dawn: a combat trial would be held. Every cadet would watch. The human would face Cadet 13 once more. Cadet 13 heard the words and felt his chest tighten. He wanted revenge. He wanted to erase the shame. But deep inside, the fear still lived. The glowing eyes haunted him. The trial yard was prepared. A wide circle was marked on the ground. Cadets gathered around, their voices buzzing with excitement. The commanders stood tall, waiting. The human arrived, calm as always. He carried the cage. The cat sat inside, silent, glowing eyes fixed on Cadet 13. Cadet 13 stepped into the circle. His fists were tight, his jaw hard. He told himself he was ready. He told himself he was strong. But his eyes kept drifting to the cage. The whistle blew. Cadet 13 charged forward, his body filled with rage. He swung hard, faster than before. His strikes were wild, desperate. He wanted to crush the human quickly, before the fear returned. But the human moved with ease. He dodged, blocked, and stepped aside. His movements were calm, controlled, almost graceful. The cadets gasped. Cadet 13 growled, his anger burning. He attacked again, harder, faster. But every time his eyes met the cat's stare, his strength faltered. His arms grew heavy, his legs weak. The human struck once, sharp and clean. Cadet 13 stumbled back. The commanders watched closely. They saw the fear in his eyes. They saw the weakness in his movements. Cadet 13 roared, trying to drown the fear with sound. He swung again, but the human caught his arm, twisted, and pushed him down. The circle erupted in noise. Cadets shouted, commanders whispered. Cadet 13 lay on the ground, defeated again. The human stood over him, silent. The cat blinked slowly, glowing eyes locked on Cadet 13. Cadet 13's pride shattered. He had lost twice. He had failed twice. And this time, the entire academy had seen it. The commanders stepped forward. One spoke loudly, his voice echoing across the yard. Cadet 13, you are strong in body but weak in mind. You fear what you cannot control. Until you master yourself, you will never be a leader. The words cut deep. Cadet 13 clenched his fists, his face burning with shame. The human lifted the cage and walked away. He did not boast. He did not laugh. He only carried the cat, its glowing eyes watching. That night, Cadet 13 sat alone. His anger was heavy, his fear heavier. He thought of the fight, of the human's calm, of the cat's stare. He whispered to himself, I am strong. I am not afraid. But the words felt empty. The dreams returned. He saw the cat walking through the academy halls, silent, glowing eyes fixed on him. He ran, but the cat followed. He hid, but the eyes found him. He woke with a scream, sweat dripping from his face. The whispers grew louder in the days that followed. Cadet 13 is broken. He fears the human's pet. He is no longer the strongest. Cadet 13's anger burned. He wanted to fight again, to prove himself. But deep inside, he knew the truth. The fear was stronger than his fists. The commanders watched. They had tried for years to control Cadet 13. They had punished him, trained him, warned him. Nothing worked. But now, with the arrival of one human and one small creature, Cadet 13 was breaking. The legend of Cadet 13 was fading. The strongest cadet was trembling. And the academy was waiting to see what would happen next. Cadet 13 could not escape the whispers. They followed him everywhere, through the halls, across the yard, even into the mess hall. Every voice carried the same words, he fears the cat. He is broken. He clenched his fists until his knuckles turned white. He wanted to silence them, to crush the laughter, to prove he was still strong. But the fear inside him grew heavier each day. The commanders watched in silence. They had seen Cadet 13's pride fall, his strength fade, his confidence shatter. They waited, knowing something was coming. It came one evening. Cadet 13 stormed into the training hall, his eyes burning with rage. The human was there, sitting quietly with the cage beside him. The cat rested inside, glowing eyes fixed on Cadet 13. Cadet 13 shouted, his voice echoing across the hall. Enough. You think you are better than me? You think your pet makes you strong? I will not be mocked. The human looked up, calm as always. He did not answer. Cadet 13 stepped closer, his fists tight. Fight me again. Not in front of them, not in a trial. Fight me now. I will show you I am not afraid. The human stood slowly. His eyes were steady, his movements calm. He placed the cage on the floor. The cat blinked once, glowing eyes locked on Cadet 13. Cadet 13's chest tightened. His breath grew shallow. He wanted to look away, but his pride forced him to stare. The human spoke softly. You are not afraid of me. You are afraid of yourself. The cat only shows you what is already inside. Cadet 13 growled. I fear nothing. The human shook his head. You fear weakness. You fear losing control. That is why you tremble. Cadet 13 roared and charged forward. His fists swung hard, his voice filled with rage. He wanted to crush the human, to destroy the cage, to silence the fear. But the human moved with ease. He dodged, blocked, and stepped aside. His movements were calm, controlled, almost effortless. Cadet 13 struck again and again, but his arms grew heavy. His legs weakened. His breath came fast. Every time his eyes met the cat's stare, his strength faded. The human struck once, sharp and clean. Cadet 13 stumbled back, his pride burning. He shouted, "Why does it watch me? Why does it break me?" The human answered, "Because you let it. Fear is not in the cat. Fear is in you." Cadet 13 froze. His fists lowered. His breath slowed. The words cut deep. The cat blinked slowly, its glowing eyes steady. Cadet 13's chest tightened. His anger collapsed. His pride shattered. He fell to his knees, trembling. The human stepped closer. His voice was calm, almost gentle. Strength is not about power. It is about control. You have power, but no control. That is why you fall. Cadet 13 pressed his hands against the floor. His body shook. His mind screamed. He wanted to rise, but he could not. He wanted to fight, but he could not. He wanted to shout, but no sound came. The cat blinked again. Cadet 13 whispered, his voice broken. I am strong. I am strong. But the words felt empty. The human lifted the cage and walked away. He did not boast. He did not laugh. He only carried the cat, its glowing eyes watching. Cadet 13 stayed on the floor, trembling. His pride was gone. His strength was gone. His legend was gone. The commanders entered the hall. They saw him kneeling, broken. One spoke loudly, his voice echoing. Cadet 13, you are no longer the strongest. You are no longer untouchable. You are a cadet like any other. And until you master yourself, you will remain weak. The words cut deeper than any wound. Cadet 13 lowered his head. He felt the weight of shame, the sting of fear, the emptiness of defeat. The whispers spread again. He fell to his knees. He begged for strength. He fears the cat. Cadet 13 closed his eyes. The glowing stare returned in his mind. Yellow, endless, unshakable. He whispered again, I am strong. But the words meant nothing. The academy had changed. The cadets no longer looked at him with respect. They looked at him with pity, with whispers, with laughter. His legend was gone. And all because of one human. And one cat. The academy was quiet after Cadet 13's fall. The strongest cadet had been broken, and everyone knew it. The whispers no longer carried fear of him. They carried pity, even laughter. His legend was gone. Cadet 13 stayed alone, his pride shattered. He avoided the halls, avoided the training yard, avoided the human. But no matter where he went, the glowing eyes of the cat haunted him. In his dreams, in his thoughts, in every shadow, the stare returned. One morning, the commanders summoned him. He walked into the hall, his steps heavy, his head low. The human stood there, calm as always, the cage beside him. The cat sat inside, silent, glowing eyes steady. The commander spoke loudly. Cadet 13, you were once strong. But strength without control is weakness. You must learn. Today, you will face not a fight, but a lesson. Cadet 13 clenched his fists. He wanted to shout, to prove himself. But his voice was gone. The human stepped forward. His eyes were calm, his movements slow. He placed the cage on the floor. The cat blinked once, glowing eyes locked on Cadet 13. Cadet 13's chest tightened. His breath grew shallow. He wanted to run, but the commander's voice held him still. Face it. The human spoke softly. You fear what you cannot understand. But fear is not the enemy. Fear is a teacher. Cadet 13 growled. I am strong. I do not need fear. The human shook his head. Strength is not about denying fear. It is about mastering it. The cat blinked again, slow and steady. Cadet 13 forced himself to stare. His body trembled, his heart raced. He wanted to look away, but he held his gaze. Seconds passed. His breath grew faster. His chest burned. The human's voice was calm. Do not fight it. Accept it. Fear is part of you. Control it, and it will no longer control you. Cadet 13's fists loosened. His shoulders lowered. He kept staring, his body shaking. But slowly, something changed. The fear did not vanish, but it softened. The trembling eased. His breath steadied. The cat blinked again. Cadet 13 whispered, I am strong. This time, the words felt different. Not hollow. Not broken. Real. The human nodded. Now you begin to understand. The commanders watched in silence. They saw the change. Cadet 13 was not free of fear, but he was learning to master it. The human lifted the cage. The cat's eyes glowed once more, then faded as the cage closed. Cadet 13 stood tall. His pride was gone, but something new had taken its place, control. The commander spoke again. You are no longer untouchable. You are no longer fearless. But now, you may become strong in truth. Cadet 13 lowered his head. He felt the weight of the words, the truth in them. He was not the strongest. He was not untouchable. But he was learning. The whispers in the academy changed. He faced the cat. He did not run. He is learning. Cadet 13 walked through the halls. His steps were steady, his eyes calm. The fear was still there, but it no longer ruled him. At night, the dreams returned. The cat walked through the halls, glowing eyes fixed on him. But this time, he did not run. He did not hide. He stood tall, staring back. The fear was there, but it did not break him. He woke with a steady breath. He whispered, I am strong. And the words felt true. The human watched from afar. He said nothing, but he knew the lesson was working. The cat had revealed Cadet 13's weakness. But it had also given him the chance to grow. The commanders saw it too. They had tried for years to control Cadet 13 with punishment, with rules, with force. Nothing worked. But one human, and one cat, had done what they could not. Cadet 13 was no longer the strongest cadet. He was no longer feared. But he was becoming something greater. He was becoming disciplined. The Academy remembered the story. They told it again and again. Cadet 13 thought he was strong, until the humans cat arrived. And from that day, even the strongest cadet learned fear. But they also told the ending. Fear did not destroy him. Fear taught him. And through fear, he found true strength.